Um, we are in live now, yes? Yeah, hopefully. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, regardless of your location. We would like to invite you for our today's live session with the St. Mary's University. We have our guest today from the university, Mrs. Undaleeb. Um, she's working for St. Mary's University. She's working as an international market manager, and we are happy to get her today for our today's live session. It will be a opportunity for our students to ask their question or the guardian or anyone who would like to know about UK studies, specifically St. Mary's University. There are some specific reasons I will explain in a minute why students choose St. Mary's University. And before that, I would like to ask all of our students and the viewers who will be watching this now and later on, please share with your friends and family. Hopefully they will be benefited. They will know the information they are looking for within one session. And so let's begin with the IC education. Why you choose IC education? So IC education is a global platform for international students to get their UK admission done with professional hand. At IC education, our counselors are British Council certified. So that means the information you get, the processing you receive through us is the counselor has the higher level of experience who assess your application. And as an organization, IC Education also British Council certified agent. So obviously, by extension of all of our colleagues and the dedicated team are experienced assessing your application. Now, regarding the UK, so why students choose UK to study like compared to other first world country, Canada or USA? So there are a couple of reasons I'd like to mention, like obviously the high quality degree. UK has a long tradition providing quality education throughout the centuries. And this is the most attractive thing about the UK. And it is the second best destination for international student, and thousands of course student can choose from. And obviously that comes with shorter duration compared to other countries' degree. Like you can complete your degree within actually 9 or 10 months, although the academic year is fully 1 year. And obviously the competitive low tuition fee and the living expenses is also less compared to other first world country. And high employability, one of the reasons students choose the UK. Obviously we would know that the St. Mary's University also has the higher employability rate. We will go to that in a minute. But UK in general obviously makes the candidate employable, that once they complete their course, they can join to the career straight away. It's like the university make them ready for the employment. So now talk about the university, why the student choose St. Mary's. Obviously, we will know more about from Undaleeb why we should choose St. Mary's. But before that, I just wanted to highlight key point that St. Mary's has a 98% employability rate within 15 months of their graduation. So as I said, you are not just completing your degree, you are securing your future as well. And the other thing as well, it is a top second in terms of safest campus in London according to Complete University Guide 2020. So the students who are concerned about their safety and security, you know that you are coming to a university which is the safest, one of the safest universities in the UK. And in terms of sports, the specialty, it is top 4 in the UK according to student survey from which 2019 survey. That means it is specialized in sports sector that not so many UK university has it. So with everything in mind, and finally, I think worth to mention about teaching excellence framework by UK government. So it awarded silver. That means the quality education is guaranteed from the university and it observed by UK government. So with everything, I'd like to invite Undaleeb to take the floor and share her screen and to let us know the more details about the university. And after her presentation, we will have Q&A session from us and then from our student as well. Yes, Undaleeb, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Nasser and IG Education for having me today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm just about to share my screen with you. Can you see?
Yes, it's coming.
Just let me know when you can see it and I'll make a start.
Yes, I can see. Hopefully our students can see as well.
Okay, excellent. So welcome everybody to this introduction of St Mary's University, Twickenham, London. It's a pleasure to be here and to have this opportunity to speak to you and give you an overview of our very unique institution. So first of all, I just want to tell you where we are. We are a London campus-based university. So if you can see here on our map of London, we're situated just out of central London. So we're considered Greater London in a borough called Richmond. And as Nasser mentioned, we are considered one of the safest university campuses in London. And Richmond is actually considered one of the safest boroughs in London as well. So it's very reassuring for students that are looking to study in the UK, specifically London. Location plays a key part for our institution. For lots of students that want to come to the UK, they want to study in the capital city and all of the economical, social, cultural benefits that has. However, the fact that we're just on the outskirts of the city centre means that we enjoy this beautiful green open space and we're a fully fledged campus. So what's great about that experience is students get that real community, cohesive campus experience, but proximity to central London. You can see on the map here, it only takes 30 minutes to get to the city centre and then 30 minutes to get to Heathrow Airport, which is the largest international airport in the UK. So that means for international students from Bangladesh, for example, coming to the UK for the first time, they arrive at Heathrow Airport. Within 30 minutes, they're already at St Mary's campus. They can spend their week studying, living either on campus or close to campus without having to commute from one part of the city to another, no traffic jams. However, on the weekends or in the evenings, they can get to London city centre really easily. But alongside that, the borough that we're situated in, Richmond, and the town that we're in, Twickenham, is one of the most beautiful parts of London. You can see from this aerial view here, we have the River Thames running through. We have a number of shops and restaurants within the area. We have two major royal parks, a very famous palace, Hampton Court Palace, and then all of the amazing things in central London. So location is a really key feature for St Mary's. What makes us unique? So alongside our amazing location, you can see that the actual campus itself is beautiful. It's home to these two listed Gothic buildings. This one on the right here is very famous. It's called Strawberry Hill. It's a real example of old Gothic architecture. But we have next to this beautiful old architecture, a lot of new, modern, up-to-date facilities as well. So it's a real kind of best of both worlds. We are a top London university for student experience. So the students that do come to St Mary's University have a very, very positive experience. We're also ranked first in London for both course and teaching satisfaction. The university itself is probably lesser known than some of the larger universities in London, but it has a really long history. We're actually over 170 years old, established in 1850. Our roots were actually teacher training college, and we're a Catholic based institution, which means we have a really strong values driven ethos, a very student centered approach, and it's a very multicultural, welcoming university. A lot of students like it because it is smaller in size. So we have around 5,500 students, which compared to some larger London-based institutions that have 15, 20, 25,000 students, it's comparatively small. But students enjoy that much kind of closer community type, student-centered feel. Our class sizes are smaller. We have around 18 students to one lecturer or teacher. So you really get to know your peers as well as your academics much sooner because of this lovely, kind of community, small class size feel. As NASA mentioned, we boast a 98% graduate employability rate, which places us in the top 10 in the UK for employability. So within 15 months of graduation, 98% of our students are either in further education or full-time employment after graduation. And that's owing to our emphasis on ensuring that our courses are really industry focused and that we really ensure that students get the right kind of vocational hands-on experience that they need during their program to make them as employment ready as possible when they graduate. We offer quality campus accommodation, which is very affordable, particularly for London. Prices start at just over £5,000 and then go up to £8,500, depending on your budget. I'll go into more detail about that later. We're also very well known for sports. We have Olympic standard sports facilities. We're a centre for teacher training excellence, as NASA also mentioned. And we have a really welcoming community of international students, over 90 different nationalities represented on campus. And they come from all parts of the world. We have a large cohort from North America, South America, Europe, and then Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia. So it's a really lovely multicultural community. And also our home students, being a London-based university, are often also from diverse backgrounds as well. So that means for international students, particularly from Bangladesh, it's a home away from home. That's the wonderful thing about London. It is such a melting pot in terms of diversity. And another thing to note is we have very competitive tuition fees, again, particularly for a London-based institution. Our undergraduate courses are priced just under £13,000 per year. And as NASA mentioned, in the UK, undergraduate degrees are just 3 years as opposed to 4 years like in Australia and in the US. And then at postgraduate level, our degrees are just under £14,000. And at postgraduate level, they're only 1 year in length, as NASA also mentioned. So those are some key kind of USPs of what makes our university unique. I will kind of labour on a bit about our sporting excellence. We are considered a sports specialist university. So it is worth noting for any of you out there that are not only interested in maybe studying a sports related subject, but also interested in pursuing your passion or interest in a particular sporting field. We offer world-class training facilities at St Mary's. We're known both nationally and internationally for our outstanding facilities in sport. Just as an example, at the last Rio Games in 2016, 23 of our students or alumni actually participated in the Olympics, bringing home 9 medals. And during the London 2012 Olympics, we were actually an official team base for 10 nations, including Japan, South Korea, and the US. So that just gives you an idea in terms of our excellence in sports. And as evidence to that, we also have fantastic sporting partnerships and placement opportunities for our sports related programs with some really big names that you're probably familiar with, such as Chelsea Football Club, Crystal Palace Football Club, London Irish Rugby Club, like a whole host of big sporting names. Our students that either participate within kind of sporting area, the sporting arena, or study a sports related subject really benefit from. So that's something to keep in mind for those of you out there that are interested in sport in some capacity. Just to give you an idea about the COVID situation, which, is obviously changing everywhere on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You're probably aware that the UK is going in a really positive direction in terms of COVID transmission rates decreasing rapidly. We obviously have rolled out our vaccine, and the university is still very much geared to face-to-face learning for this September intake. So we're really hoping that by September, students will be able to arrive on campus, pending obviously quarantine times, for face-to-face learning. Prior to that, we were offering online or blended learning options because of the pandemic situation, and we will adapt according to what the situation looks like in the next few months. Fortunately, we've had no transmission cases on campus because we've always got students living on campus at any time for the last 4 months, which is really positive. We run asymptomatic testing programs on campus for free, so students are getting tested on a regular basis, and any applicants or students thinking of coming to the university will get regular updates regarding visa regulation changes and what's actually happening on campus regarding the pandemic situation. But happy to take some questions about that after this presentation. So this is just an overview of what our core specialisms are. Students that are interested in business and law, education teaching, humanities, media, creative arts, social sciences, and then sports and health sciences should stay on to listen to the rest of this presentation. If you are interested in more STEM related subjects such as engineering, computer science, or IT, St Mary's isn't the university that offers those programs. So just as a caveat, we're not a specialist in STEM related subjects, but these are our core specialisms, which I'll give you an overview in more detail now. So business, really popular subject area, particularly within Bangladesh. We offer a suite of undergraduate and postgraduate courses within our business department. And as you can see, we offer various pathways within business management. So we have an international business management BA, and then pathways with marketing, finance, entrepreneurship, and a sports related management BA as well. What's unique about these programs is that they are all dual accredited with the Chartered Management Institute, the professional body for management in the UK. And on completion of core modules at undergraduate level, students also get their level 5 diploma in management and leadership. So it's an additional professional qualification that you get during your degree, which again helps with your employability prospects and further professional development opportunities post-graduation. We don't offer the sandwich option, so you don't need to take an additional year out to do an internship. But in our undergraduate programs in semester 2, in year 2 and 3, we offer integrated work placement modules. So students can opt to take a work placement module, which we will assist in finding a relevant placement where you get to work within that semester for a particular company, for example, and then within those 3 years get relevant work experience without having to take an additional year out. And then at postgraduate level, we have a very popular international business management MSc with streams also in finance and management, and then finance and accounting. We have a specific MSc in marketing, and then a sports management MSc as well, again, owing to our excellent partnerships and placement opportunities within the sporting industry. And like at undergraduate level, they're dual accredited with the Chartered Management Institute, where you get professional level 7 diploma on completion of your core modules in strategic management and leadership. And they also have integrated placement opportunities in the second semester that students can opt to take. So that's just an overview. You can see where there's a red asterisk. It means that there are two term dates available for those subjects. So all of our courses that I'm going to speak to you today about have a September start date, but we have a few business related programs at postgraduate level that you can also apply for the January intake, and those are the ones with the red asterisks. So law, we have a very good undergraduate LLB program and also a specialist program in criminology LLB, and they're all very focused on practice-focused vocational modules. So students get lots of opportunities to work with the local legal community, for example, to get some hands-on experience, as well as doing mooting and mock trials. And we run a number of commercial awareness workshops throughout the year, again, to help students with employability opportunities. And then at postgraduate level, the key program, particularly for the Bangladesh market, is our International Business Law LLM, our one-year program, again, September start date, which looks deeply at international trade and business law. And like the undergraduate program, they run a lot of employability events throughout the year, opportunities for mock trials and mooting, commercial awareness workshops to really ensure that students get as much exposure to, the world of law within the UK as possible to help with employability post-graduation. And then within our media communication and arts department, we have a range of very industry-focused marketing, communication, creative arts programs at undergraduate level. You can see here we do communications and marketing with specialist areas in data analytics, design, media and marketing. And then a specialist sports communication and marketing, again, owing to our specialisation in sport. And then at postgraduate level, we run a very popular international sports journalism MA. It's one of the world's first journalism MAs, particularly focused on international sports journalism. It's taught by award-winning journalists and broadcasters, and it offers a fantastic placement opportunity in some big sports communication departments or companies such as Sky Sports, ESPN and the BBC. And then one of our, I suppose, flagship departments is within education. So I mentioned before, the university's roots are actually in teacher training. Ofsted has ranked all of our teacher training programs as outstanding. So it's definitely one to remember if you're looking to either take a PGCE program or an undergraduate degree in primary education, for example, or a postgraduate MA. You can see at postgraduate level, we run a suite of MA education degrees with specialisation in pedagogy and coaching and mentoring, religious education. The Masters in Education are really geared to practicing professionals, so teachers or even leaders working within the education field that either want to kind of further their career at leadership level or go into more research. So it's definitely a programme or department to consider if you are looking for an education related program. And then also at undergraduate level, for example, we have primary education with QTS, so qualifying teaching status as well. So students, upon graduation will have the relevant certificate in order to be able to teach in the UK and internationally. And then within humanities, we run English literature, liberal arts, which is also available as a 2-year accelerated degree. So all our degrees at undergraduate level are 3 years, but we do have an accelerated liberal arts degree, which you can complete in 2 years. We run history at undergraduate level. And then at postgraduate level, you can opt for public history, theology, and then this very interesting interdisciplinary program in bioethics and medical law. And this attracts students from various disciplines, the health sector, medics, doctors, nurses, philosophers that are interested in assessing ethical, legal and spiritual aspects of the advances of medicine and related technology. So quite niche, but something to note for those students interested in that particular field. And then within our social sciences, we run an accredited psychology BSc, so that's accredited by a British Psychology Society. And then politics and IR, which we also run at postgraduate levels. So we have a very well-regarded diplomacy and international MA, which is actually taught by diplomats, past and present. And it's really designed to give students as much hands-on experience of the diplomatic world at the very highest levels as possible. And then we have a very unique degree in human trafficking, migration and organised crime. Again, it's interdisciplinary, and this feeds into our specialist research centre in the study of modern slavery. And this particular programme looks at areas around human trafficking, migratory flows, forced labour, organised crime, so really kind of poignant issues in this current day and age. And then a very, I think, relevant programme, particularly considering the pandemic situation that we're all experiencing, is our MSc in the psychology of mental health. And this is specifically designed to look at aspects of caring for people with mental illness. And it has an applied element to it, so students can complete a work placement module within that 12-month degree. And then sports and health science, this is our largest department. As I mentioned, we have a suite of sports science programs at undergraduate level. We have programs in sports and exercise science, sports and conditioning science, physiotherapy. We run a very unique program with the Chelsea Football Club Foundation around coaching and development. It's a 2-year foundation program, but students can opt to do a 3rd year top up to make it a full undergraduate Bachelor of Science. We run sports psychology, sports rehabilitation, and then at postgraduate level, we have a number of sports related programs in applied exercise, sports and exercise biomechanics, physiology, sports psychology, performance football coaching. And then within health sciences, we have a chronic disease management MSc, which again, very relevant. It's accredited, and it also has a January start date, as you can see by the asterisk there. So students can opt to do this program in September as well as January. And then again, for kind of sport, health related students or students with backgrounds in nutrition, for example, or biomedical sciences, we have an applied human nutrition MSc, and then an MSc in nutrition and genetics. You can see we have most of our sports and health related programs have the relevant accreditation by the professional bodies in the UK. This is just an overview of some of the names that you might find familiar for work placements that students have gone on to secure during their programs. So within business, we've got students go on to some, big flagship hotel corporations. Within sports, again, some big names such as Chelsea FC, some departments and organisations within education, and then for charity, not-for-profit, for example, we've had students go on to work for the National Trust, the MOD, the Met Police. So that just gives you an idea of the kind of placements that some of our students have gone on to work for during their placement programmes. So in terms of our admission entry criteria, obviously for the UK, we generally ask for students with A-levels. So if you have done A-levels, for example, we would generally ask for around a BBC to CCC, so around a BCC or 96 UCAS points. If you've done IB, we look at around 28 points for our undergraduate courses. And though if you've done your HSC in Bangladesh, we do consider students for direct entry for our undergraduate degrees, as long as you have a minimum GPA of 4 out of 5 or 75% in all subjects. At postgraduate level, we generally ask for most courses around a UK 2-2 equivalent. So that equates in Bangladesh to a GPA of around 2.75 or 55%. So we sometimes look at GPA or percentage depending on how your particular university grades you. But if you have that generally at academic level, then you will be considered for direct entry at postgraduate level. But English language requirement is key alongside your academic degree. So for undergraduate students, we would ask for IELTS or equivalent, minimum 6 with no less than 5.5 in any section. Then at postgraduate level, we would ask for IELTS 6.5 with no less than 6 in any section. These two programs here, physiotherapy, sports journalism, ask for IELTS 7. But as a rule of thumb, most of the courses that I discussed require IELTS 6.5 at postgraduate level. We do accept IELTS indicator as an alternative. We're not accepting Duolingo this year, and at the moment we're not running an internal test. Alternative English language options include Cambridge certificates or A-levels. Pearson's is another option, as is TOEFL. And obviously if students have done IB as well with a minimum 4 at HL or SL level, they'd also be considered, they'd also meet our English language requirement. If you don't have the required English language grade, we do run pre-sessional English programs, as long as you only have either 1 band or 0.5 band below our entry criteria. These are currently going to be run online. You can see our 10-week course will start in June. It's priced at £3,500. And then our 6-week course, if you're 0.5 below, so let's say if you need 6.5 and you have currently 6, you could opt to take a 6-week pre-sessional course, which will start and then end just before your program starts. We do have a pathway provider, St Mary's University International College, which runs our International Foundation as well as our pre-masters programs. So that's situated on campus. So if you've done HSC, for example, and you don't have the relevant GPA for direct entry, you can opt to do our International Foundation and first year with our pathway provider, and then progress to St Mary's for your second and third year. They have various intakes, October, February and May, and there is a separate application form if you do want to apply for either an International Foundation or pre-masters. Our fees, as I mentioned, at undergraduate level, they're priced at £12,900 per year. We do offer international scholarships at undergraduate level of £3,000. So that would bring your tuition fees to just under £10,000 for the first year. It's merit-based, so students that exceed our entry criteria, have the relevant IELTS English language qualification, will automatically be considered for a £3,000 scholarship. Then at postgraduate level, our fees, as I mentioned, are under £14,000 at £13,950, and we have international scholarships of £1,500 to £2,000. And like with the undergraduate scholarship, it's merit-based. So if you have a good GPA, a strong application, you'll automatically be considered for an international scholarship award. In order to secure your place and your scholarship, if you're awarded one, and to apply for your CAS, your confirmation of acceptance to study before applying for your visa, you do need to pay a deposit of £5,000, and this is mandatory in order to secure your place. However, once you join, let's say in September, you have the option to pay in 3 installments. So you can pay the first installment when you enroll in September, and then the second and third installment in January and April. Alternatively, you can pay the full amount when you join in September. So there is a bit of flexibility in terms of payment. However, the deposit of £5,000 is mandatory in order to secure your place, your CAS, as well as your scholarship. Application process, obviously IG Education will give you a full briefing in terms of filing an application, but we have obviously online application forms. All the information is available online, and it is a very straightforward process once you make the application. However, when it comes to the checklist, it is really important, obviously, to have all your key documents and very clear scanned copies that include the relevant information. So academic certificates, for example, must show your course level, your completion date and grade, as well as your institution name and your name. It probably sounds quite straightforward, but often we do get copies of documents that don't have this information, and then what that means is the whole kind of decision process is held up. So before filing your application, make sure that all of the documents that you submit are very clear with all the relevant information. The second thing I'd really like to point out is your personal statement. This is really key particularly if you're looking to be considered for a scholarship. We do look at personal statements closely, and in the past we have had a lot of students that have not sent authentic personal statements. So they've just kind of cut and paste templates that they've seen online, and they are spotted quite easily. And if we do find plagiarized personal statements, they do automatically get rejected. So really use this opportunity when you're writing your personal statement to talk about you, make it tailored and make it specific to the course and university. This applies to all universities that you're applying to. Make it as specific as possible, because they are read and they are considered, particularly if you're looking to get a scholarship. If you've had a gap between your studies and the date that, the year that you're looking to apply, so if you haven't just finished your degree, if there's been a year or 2 years between the last your last academic study date and the date you want to apply, we will ask for a CV to show or to demonstrate what you've been doing in between that time. So that's, again, also very important to note. If there has been a gap between studies, that you can demonstrate what you've been doing during that time. And this is a guideline of our deadline dates. So students can still apply almost up until the second week of July for our September intake. But we will be looking to secure those places and ask students to pay their deposit by the end of July. And that's to ensure that students will get their visas in time for the September start date. So our courses start at the end of September. We have an induction week a week before, and obviously, as you're aware, at the moment there is a quarantine period in the UK, so students have to allow for an additional 2 weeks to quarantine in the UK before their course starts. So if you are thinking of this September intake and you haven't made an application yet, this is really the best time to do that. Accommodation, as I said, we have different accommodation to suit different budgets. So we offer catered accommodation. So that means you get your breakfast and your dinner included in, and all of your bills in the price that you see. So for on-campus standard accommodation for undergraduate students, it starts at £5,000, and that ranges between £6,000 to £8,000, depending on the type of accommodation. So we obviously have ensuite on-campus rooms for students at the higher level, at the higher end of the budget, but also slightly more affordable options as well for those that are budgeting. However, the Richmond area, Twickenham area, is actually very affordable for students. So we have homestay options, private sharing options that range between £300 to £500 per month. So again, it's quite affordable. And if you are thinking of studying in London, do think about the area, because often students have family, for example, in London that they obviously want to stay with because it's much more cost effective. But you've got to think about commuting and the cost of commuting as well. So I would always advise students, particularly if postgraduate level, you've got 1 year and it's quite intensive, try to stay in and around the university area, if not on campus, because it really it reduces travel costs, it reduces your time, and it just makes the whole process and experience a lot more pleasant. So that is just something to bear in mind, if you have accommodation in East London and, we're situated in West London, there will be kind of travel commuting time to consider as well. How and when to apply. This is some information. Basically, once you make your application and you secure your offer, you will get all the relevant information from the accommodation team regarding accommodation options available. But generally, we do ask for students to apply by the June deadline in order to guarantee on-campus accommodation. But you will get all that relevant information as and when you apply and secure your offer at St Mary's. And then just an overview of some of the additional services offered by the university. We have a fantastic Centre for Workplace Learning, and this helps students look for what those work placement opportunities that I said are integrated in a lot of our programs. They give lots of workshops and seminars around boosting your CV, how to look for jobs, and that's something that students really, take advantage of, because that again will really help for your employability prospects during the program as well as when you graduate. We do run a fantastic international orientation program. Obviously last year, because of the pandemic, it had to be run online because students weren't able to arrive in the UK on time, but hopefully that will be run face to face. And that's a great opportunity for students just to get their bearings, meet other international students, find their way around like the local area as well as campus before the actual programs start. We have a careers service. So you might be aware in the UK as a student, you'll be able to work 20 hours part-time during term time and then full-time post during your holidays. And then now we have the post-study work visa. So students that are in the UK by the 21st of September will be eligible to apply for the 2-year work-study work visa within the UK. So the career service helps students look for relevant employment opportunities, either during their studies or post-graduation. We offer free language support at the university, and we have a fantastic students' union. Do look at the St Mary's Students' Union section on our webpage. We have over 50 different clubs and societies, ranging from psychology, international law, coaching, drama, all sorts. And it just means that, you know, the whole social aspect as well is also part of the university experience. During the pandemic, a lot of these societies did loads of events and, you know, workshops online. So they still made sure that students felt really, really connected. And these are some upcoming webinars. We do update this website often, so do look on our website for any up and coming webinars. You will see on all of our subject pages, if there's an up and coming webinar, it will pop up. But for students thinking about an MSc in business, we have one running in 2 days' time. So just check the website out for that. And then you'll hear directly from the program director about how the course is structured, and they'll be there to answer any specific course related questions. We've got some programs running in education, and we also have an undergraduate open day running at the end of June. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking at undergraduate studies. There's an opportunity to take a tour of St Mary's. As I mentioned, you know, our campus is really something that a lot of students visiting fall in love with. You can go onto YouTube and just put St Mary's tour or this URL, and you'll see a student kind of give you a tour of the campus. It's a great way to virtually get a feel of the university and its fantastic facilities. You can also do an actual virtual visit and zoom into specific areas on our 360 Explore link, again available on our website. You can chat to a student. I think the best way to really get real first-hand insight from a peer is to speak to an actual student, and you just need to go onto the St Mary's website and then just put in student stories, and it will take you to this place here where you can actually chat to a student about, you know, more specific student-related queries. And then again, if you want to find out more, you'll see us on Facebook, on Twitter. There's loads of videos, course-related, campus-related on YouTube. We're on Instagram too. There's our generic email address and obviously my email address for specific related queries. Okay, so that's St Mary's in a nutshell. I hope it's given you an overview of our very unique and quite special institution, but I'm happy to answer any more kind of specific questions or, you know, fill any gaps that I might have missed out during that presentation. But thank you so much for listening, and I hope it was useful.
Yes, thank you so much, Undaleeb. This was a really fantastic presentation, and most of my question you already covered the question I am about to ask. Okay. So although I will ask you like some specific question. Really it was fantastic presentation. So I have some question regarding, although you mentioned regarding the scholarship, merit-based scholarship. Yeah. Is there any guaranteed scholarship for a student who will apply, who will have offer letter, will have unconditional? Is there any scholarship, guaranteed scholarship for those students?
I can't ever say they're guaranteed. We have a significant number of scholarships to allocate for academically strong students. However, you know, that it's not limitless. So it also depends, students are allocated scholarships on a first come, first served basis. So obviously those that apply earlier have a greater chance of securing scholarships. So we do our best to ensure that those that are eligible for an international award will be considered, but they're not guaranteed. We don't have a cap on specific numbers, so it's not just, we only have 5 or we only have 10. It's to do mainly with allocation. So we will do our best is the answer to ensure that those that are deserving of an academic scholarship, international scholarship, and that meet our criteria will be considered and hopefully awarded, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay, thank you. You also mentioned the type of English test you accept. So other than that, obviously you said you don't accept Duolingo. So the other test you used to accept is, I believe, HLA. So will you consider that one, or you will not consider anything, whatever you just said?
Yeah, good question. At the moment, we're not accepting the HLA test. So we only are accepting the English language test that I mentioned. So obviously IELTS indicator, Pearson, TOEFL, Cambridge, or IB. Outside of that, we're not accepting any other English language test. And there's no English language waiver for students that have studied in the medium of English unless they've studied in a UK university or a Western institution. Outside of that, they are required to have an English language qualification from the listed test centres that I mentioned.
Okay, another common question we get nowadays regarding PTE Home or TOEFL Home, like home-based edition, online, fully online based. So will you be accepting like home-based, like not the institutional one, like not the traditional one, like TOEFL have a home-based one, which is like Duolingo fully online. Student can attend from home.
You have to be more specific. So are you referring to TOEFL, like TOEFL online?
Yes, TOEFL and PTE online-based one, home-based.
That's a good question. I think so, but I would have to double check, actually. I would have to double check if there's any specific kind of policy regarding the online equivalent. I know that IELTS indicator is listed and accepted. TOEFL is listed and accepted, as is Pearson's. The online equivalent, I'll have to double check if that's okay, to find out if there are any issues regarding that.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, you also covered the accommodation and the cost. So based on the accommodation, is the prices fixed, or the student can get any discount if they book within the certain time? Is there any discount facilities within the accommodation?
No, they're fixed.
Okay. And regarding the interview from the university before the CAS, so if you'd like to mention a bit, like what you are looking for specifically from the student, what should they know regarding their UK study?
That's a really good question, and I think it's important to tell Bangladeshi students that there's a very high chance that we will run an internal credibility interview, pre-CAS, and that's our way of ensuring that students are prepared for potentially an actual UK VI interview, and just to make sure that they are kind of focused on the university, and yeah, that they're the right fit for the university. So I think in terms of preparation, what generally you're going to be asked, not only through our internal credibility test, but also UK VI, is first why St Mary's. So we really want students to have done their research about our university. And, you know, it might sound silly, but sometimes students even get the name wrong. They don't really know our location. So it's really, you know, not just the kind of headline stuff that you just memorize from the website. Like, what was your reason for choosing St Mary's? So the more detail you can get, you know, outside of what you're going to find on the website, which is obviously going to be important as well, really think about your actual personal reasons as well as the general reasons for choosing the university. Secondly, why did you choose your course? If the course is in the same subject as the area that you've planned, if the subject that you're choosing to study is the same as perhaps what you've studied before, what is it about St Mary's that you think makes us different? What suits you? What's been your decision-making process in terms of choosing that particular course? Think about the course modules as well, the assessment, how long it will last, the qualification that you're going to be awarded. If you've done, let's say you've studied in a different subject area, so maybe you've done biomedical science, but then you want to do a business MSc, which is possible at St Mary's, by the way. We do accept students that come from different backgrounds, not just business. But a big chunk of the interview will be like, why are you changing subject areas? What's your reasons? So again, really take time to research this information. Look at the course pages of our website. Do email the program director. The information is available on the website if you have very course specific questions. But really do think about your decision-making process with regards to the course. How do you think your studies will fit into your career plans? So what are your plans after you graduate? How will the knowledge you've gained from your course at St Mary's help you with the type of work that you want to go on to do? You might be asked about the level of salary you hope to achieve once you've graduated. So think about that too. Also the costs, you know, as you know, studying in the UK, it's much more expensive than, let's say, studying in Bangladesh. So why have you decided, for example, to incur these extra costs involved with studying in the UK? So really think about the advantages of having a degree from the UK, what that might give you and your family, why you're prepared to make that investment, how you're looking to fund your program. You know, do you have ready initial funds? You know, if you're like, well, I'm just hoping for a full scholarship, well, that's obviously not going to work. So, you know, think about how you're going to fund your program, because you might be asked for that as well. And that you show an understanding of the costs involved when studying in the UK, whether it's a 3-year degree or a 1-year degree. So do your research about the cost of pursuing your degree in the UK and how you're planning also to finance that, as well as how that aligns with your career aspirations. Do you plan to work in the UK? You might be asked that too. So think about, well, remember that the main purpose for you being in the UK is your studies. So essentially you're hoping to enhance your academic prospects by studying in the UK. You might be asked, you know, are you planning to work part-time? So do show that you are aware that you can work 20 hours part-time and then full-time in your holidays. But part-time work shouldn't be your main source of income. If you're already planning to come to the UK, you should already have those funds available prior to entering the UK. So do be mindful of that. You might be asked about your financial status, your financial sponsor, so bank statements, if you're able to provide financial evidence for your visa application. So obviously IG, you'll be able to give more information about what documents students will specifically need, but that will be asked. So do make sure you have the right evidence in place. Where are you going to live? So if you're not planning to live on campus, maybe with family or friends, you will be asked about where you're living. And as I mentioned before, you know, London is a huge city. So students that have family, I don't know, in outside of Greater London in Oxford, for example, and want to study at St Mary's, there will be question marks because that will be a huge commute, and it might work against you if, you know, where you're planning to live and where you're planning to study is far. So think about that too. And then understanding the responsibilities of studying in the UK under the graduate route. So what are the conditions, you know, of your Tier 4 visa? That's something to keep in mind as well. And they might ask you about the graduate immigration route, so this post-study work visa. And are you planning to stay in the UK post-graduation? So I think essentially what they want to know is that during your time at the university, you'll be able to pay your fees and you will adhere to your Tier 4 visa criteria. So, I mean, that's quite an extensive list of questions, but the more prepared you are, the better. The purpose really of our internal credibility interview is to act as a preparation for a potential UK VI interview. So do your homework, you know, work with IG to get those questions answered so that you are ready for both the internal credibility interview and potentially a UK VI one.
Thank you so very much for such a nice explanatory answer. I believe a student got really full overview what they should know about pre-CAS interview and what university and UKVI also would look for. I think one of the similar question what mentioned here now regarding the personal statement. So I think the thing you just mentioned, it also involves within the personal statement. But one common question a student asks, where should I start? Should I start with my career or representing me or the course I will be studying or the university I will be studying? So is there any format would you recommend for personal statement?
I'm just see if I can find one document. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, it's not here. I do have just bear with me 1 second.
Sure.
Because I actually had admissions. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't want to keep you on hold for too long. There is one that admissions actually shared with me about what they really are looking for. Unfortunately, I can't find it right now. I didn't have it handy, but I can send this later on. Yeah, I mean, all of those questions that you mentioned, all of those points that you mentioned, it doesn't really matter what order, as long as they cover all of the area. So, you know, why St Mary's? Why this course? What are they hoping to achieve from it? What are their future plans? You know, and any specific detail, personal specific detail that really indicate that this person they know the university, they've researched the subject, they're authentic, they're credible. Any supporting evidence that show your particular interest or passion in the program. So if you've done voluntary work, if you've got work experience, anything that really supports your application. But, you know, I know the personal statement can be a bit of a drag as well. And was like, oh God, I've got to write this personal statement. See it as an opportunity to really talk about yourself, you know, to talk about your achievements, to talk about your passion, to talk about your interests. It's a great place for you to kind of actually really express, you know, what you're going to offer the university. Why is the university also lucky to have you as a potential student? So, you know, obviously you have to cover the key areas, you know, the understanding of the university, the course, the whys, but use that as an opportunity to really promote yourself and, you know, your achievements, your interests, and why you would be a great fit for that particular program and our university. I think what's really key outside of just covering the key themes that you mentioned is authenticity. You know, admissions go through hundreds and hundreds of applications every day. And, you know, those few personal statements that really stand out, do stand out. And, you know, particularly when we're looking at scholarship applicants, you know, outside of your academic grades, the only other thing that we really assess is your SOP, your statement of purpose. And that's our way of really seeing who you are and why you're the right fit for the course and the university. So I think find some joy in using the personal statement as a way to really sell yourself, promote yourself, but obviously cover those key areas. In what order? I don't think that's the most important thing. I think as long as you kind of cover the key areas that you mentioned, but you also add some personality too. I think that's really the most important thing.
Thank you so much. One question I think also need to know from you, specifically for Bangladeshi student, a lot of student to 3 years degree. It's not full bachelor degree. It's called 3 years pass degree. So will you accept those students? Because the standard is 4 years. The GP you mentioned, I believe it's for the 4 years degree. But there is another stream which is 3 years degree. So will they be eligible for your masters, or they need to study pre-masters and then go for the masters?
The 3-year degree, is this quite recent, or is
No, it's going on for a while.
Is this with just private institutions?
No, all the private institution has 4 years degree. It's public institution, a national university, I believe you are aware of. So it runs 2 type of programs. One is 4 years bachelor, another one is 3 years pass degree. It's like 1 year shorter, and it also covers less subjects in terms of intensity, all those things.
Well, we generally offer 16 years academic studies prior to undergraduate degree. Not 16 years, no, sorry, for prior to masters. Yeah. So probably students would be advised to do a pre-masters.
Okay. All right. Yes, so far this was the question from my side. And before I go into our students' question, I would like to ask Shourabh, if you have any question, if we have not covered, please ask your question if you have any, then we will move to the students' question and we will end the session soon.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Undaleeb. I had a lot of questions, but Undaleeb already completed all the section. Just before in my side, I would like to ask 2 specific questions to Undaleeb. Do you accept any visa refusal students who have previous refusal?
If they've had a visa refusal for the UK, then no, we don't. If they've had a visa refusal for another country, let's say Canada, then they will be considered. The only issue is generally if they've had a visa refusal in the UK.
Okay. Do you offer combined casts who hold the offer for Presessional English course?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. So as I mentioned, the Presessional English language program is going to be delivered online this year. However, students can opt to be in the UK to take the online Presessional course. So they can apply for a joint CAS. However, obviously, we've got a June start date and a July start date. So it's a very small window at the moment if a student's looking to still apply for the Presessional English. Well, actually, no, it's a small window only if they want the joint CAS to be in the UK, because remember, they've still got to quarantine. Even though it's online, the idea is that they would apply for their CAS post completion of the Presessional English, but we will offer joint CAS for students that do want to be in the UK if there is sufficient time. However, they must have a UK VI IELTS in order to qualify for the joint CAS.
Okay. For MA education students who want to apply for MA education, do you think they should have a previous work experience?
Ideally, yes. It's not mandatory if they've just completed, let's say, an undergraduate degree. I mean, as I mentioned, our master's programs in education are really geared at education professionals. So those that are already practicing in the education field, whether it be from a research side or actual teaching. So I think those that have already some previous work experience will benefit more. If they have no experience, it might be that the application will be sent to the program director for review, and they might be required to interview with the department before a decision is made. But my recommendation would be students apply with some work experience.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Thank you so much, Undaleeb.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're gonna take very few selected questions because we are already nearly more than an hour. So just selected question from the student. Student asking the internal English test system. Hi, Sakib. Student have to take the designated English test like mentioned in the presentation, IELTS, PTE. I hope you have watched that. And if you have any specific query, please send us email. The next question is the study gap. So is there any sort of formal gap here you will consider or will not consider?
At the moment, because of the UK VI, we generally would prefer students to have no less than a 1 or 2 year study gap, possibly 3 at postgraduate level, maybe more if a student can clearly demonstrate very relevant work experience. So let's say we go back to education and someone that's looking for MA in education and they've been working as a senior leader or a teacher for the last few years, and then they want to do an MA in education. That will be looked at more favorably than an undergraduate student that graduated 3 years ago and that wants to apply for an undergraduate degree. So at undergraduate level, I would say 1 or 2 years as a rule of thumb for St Mary's, mainly because of strict UK VI regulations, particularly for our institution. At postgraduate level, there's a bit more flexibility, but again, students would really have to demonstrate what they've been doing during that time, and it would have to be relevant work experience.
All right. Next question is related computer science related course. I believe St. Mary has one specific undergrad course, applied physics.
We don't anymore. I'm sorry if that's still on the website. We no longer teach that program.
Okay. And another question asked regarding the MBA requirement. So
we also don't offer an MBA. We previously had a program run in conjunction with the Mountbatten program, but at the moment we don't have a specific MBA. We have international business management at master's level.
Yeah, it's quite similar to MBA, but obviously it's not MBA. MBA is
it's
more
not an MBA.
Yeah,
and we don't require work experience like an MBA would. So you can apply for that without relevant work experience, or even a business-related background. You would also still, if you don't have a business-related background, you would still be considered.
Yes. So finally, regarding the COVID situation, to let our student know, although in South Asia, COVID has spiked, but the good thing is your destination place, I mean, the UK is getting controlled. So people are getting vaccinated and the situation is getting better. We can go outside. Some of them are also allowed to go the sea beach as well. Obviously, you have to maintain the social distancing and by following all the government rules and regulation. And finally, I'd like to thank Undaleeb for her such a nice presentation and her time with her. We really appreciate her time. And I believe our student also got their question answered. And if it is not, obviously, we are here always, and just use our email address or mobile number. We are available on WhatsApp, email, Viber, all sort of form, and obviously through Facebook as well. You are feel free to ask us any question if you have, and obviously we will get back to you as soon as possible with a dedicated team member will contact with you. And finally, thank you again, Undaleeb, for giving us time today. And we would like to also thank our student or the guardian who have watched and who will be watching later on, few months or few years down the line. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving your time, and obviously our guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you for
you.
listening.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Stay
Bye-bye.
safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.